Hello, hello. Not that anyone would be on the first second I start.
But you should say hey, hello anyway.
But hello anyway. Kyle's here. Actually, say something?
Hello, I'm speaking to test out probably volume and audio.
Yes, okay. Should be good. Because I have music on, I just want to make sure it's not too loud and that kind of stuff. Alright, and I know... Alright, and... Okay, I can hear myself, so that's good. Okay, I can hear myself, so that's good. Okay, I can hear myself, so that's good. Okay, I can hear myself. So, oh god, it's repeating forever. Oh god, okay. I'm trying to clickbait the title here. Oh wait,
Like
it'd help if I spelled game right. Gam Jam Review. Which I kind of like as a word. Okay, so yes, today the goal is to our game jam judging did not go super great. So the goal here is basically to look at the game and see if we can win the game, or at least get us to a better position than they were at, playing the game. So see if we can actually beat the game in a state that seemed unwinnable. And Kyle's here.
I am.
He's here. I have tabletop open if you want to join. Let's see here.
I don't see you.
Did I do a single player instead? The answer is probably multiplayer. Great game. Armies Against Entropy. How about now?
Yep, there it is.
Cool.
I am just gonna pick red.
Deal.
And if I remember right, he went with God of Humanity.
We are going to actually yes, yes, I believe so. Change color.
I want to test out the whole
Game Master. Yeah, I don't know why that wasn't working for him.
I think he might have just been interacting with it incorrectly, because it's perfectly fine for me.
Yeah. I also need to rotate those so they don't come in sideways, but other than that...
Rotate the bag?
Yeah.
Yes, you literally can rotate the bag.
Okay. So let's... he was... Let's see. God, this is not the easiest way to do this. And I don't know why I'm doing it this way. There we go.
I was going to say, why?
I felt frosty, I guess. So the first biggest thing is the mulligan, right? Like, he didn't have a hero.
He didn't have a hero. He definitely should have mulliganed. We literally, in the rules, say if you don't know whether you should mulligan or not, if you don't have one of each type of land, structure, and hero, probably mulligan.
Yeah. And so that was error one. So I think that's something we could test, is play...
just assume that if he had mulliganed.
If he had mulliganed and... God, it's so hard to, like, just say his name. Played. Then... played his deck as he did, or got his hand as he did, and then this hand played as... just a different deck, would it would have been any different? So I think that is one
the answer is
thing.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think it would have gone a lot better. And then the other scenario obviously is just, I instantly muted it because I just can't listen to it again.
I'm not I need to see what he plays.
So he plays a forest and a
His first turn, he plays a forest and market. Oops, that's not what I want to do. So search.
And you can type, I
Was-
think. Yeah, okay, cool.
And market. All right, I'm just gonna go through his steps as we go. Okay, market doesn't seem to work. What the hell? Why is market not working?
Is it not?
Did we not call it market? Do I not know the names of our own cards?
I mean, trading post. That's why.
Trading post, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so regardless of what was actually in his hand, which we can't really know, this was
Yeah.
his first turn. And then these would have come in with some tokens, or some units rather.
So here's honestly the first error already is that he left all his units there. He did not move them.
Did he literally
This
just...
also should have 3. He just left everything as is.
His first turn, he literally just did that?
Oh, actually, sorry. He has 4 here. And this should be 3. Okay, there we go.
Yes,
So
this
he-
came in with 1, he populated it with 2. How did this get...
So it has structure on it.
Oh,
so it
structure,
should gain.
so it gets
And plus it
additional-
starts with 1. Yeah.
2? Yeah, and he just left it like this. I...
Correct. So that's already error number 1.
Now, granted, to be fair, he doesn't know that we have things that attack heroes, structures, or lands in different orders. But I think the biggest mistake was clearly this is meant to generate units for you.
And I get it. Like as a new player, there's no like you don't know why you would order things in different areas. And I'm not really trying to come at this from a perspective of a new player, honestly, because I think learning the game, any game you play, is going to have a
probably
learning
gonna
curve.
lose the first. With our game, you will probably lose the first game you play because you don't understand the mechanics and how they interact, and so like
Yeah.
you're gonna have almost exactly what happened, which is just this overwhelming force.
Honestly, the
But
more
I
I
think
think,
there's still stuff that could have got better.
oh, for sure. I think. Well, I think it really is. Like I've been thinking about the whole roguelike, example, and it really like. I mean, the first game of Risk of Rain or whatever you played, right?
But you
like
destroyed.
you die map 1 even, and like.
Let's see. Okay, if I
So it's
if
just
I was
like
playing this
I
for the
don't know.
first time though, I haven't seen anything yet, but I know I need to kill this old god.
Yeah.
What would my like gut reaction be without knowing that I need to like defend things? I mean, I still feel like my gut reaction would probably be like, okay, I'm reading this card and it says if it has 5 units on it, I can move units to other things. Well, clearly that's like right now the only useful thing I can do.
Yeah.
So I
and
think
leaving
my
them
first
here-
thing would be
yeah.
like, cool, let me put 3
Lost.
from my forest on it and 2 from my god on it.
Yeah.
Because like clearly the synergy I have right now is activate this thing.
And which already means you can put your units on anything regardless of game phase, which is
Yeah. So I'm already like, this is what I want to go through. So I think that in and of itself was his turn 1 actual mistake, regardless of like not understanding the rest of the gameplay mechanics or what was going to happen when the old god started playing. He didn't read his card. He didn't realize
Right.
what his card can do. And so he didn't do anything. Like the natural reaction should be, hey, this thing lets me place the allies place units, which specifically are said like you cannot do. And I can break the rules and just play units or move units whenever. So like that was the big first mistake, I think.
Yeah, 100%. Actually, sorry, give me half a second. I forgot to ping my people's
Oh,
on the Discord server. There we go.
yeah, does he move? He doesn't move.
Okay, there we go. Okay,
That
so
does
then
feel like a miss is that we literally have a phase called placing units, and he doesn't place units.
yeah,
Like I feel like if the game says there's this phase that you do this thing, and you decide not to do the thing, that might be indicative that the game wants you to do that thing.
yeah,
Seriously,
for sure.
how long? Okay, he literally doesn't move units. He just leaves 1, 4, 3.
Yep. So, then, here does a desert,
He's got 4 random cards in his hand, but we don't know what they are.
I mean, you could technically figure it out maybe from...
Well, I know he doesn't have heroes.
Yeah, if you go back and or look at the end of the game, his cards shouldn't be that much different in theory, but...
We'll figure it out as we go, but...
Yeah, I don't think it's worth even... Because the problem is you can't speculate as to which cards...
It's hard to know, like, maybe he did misplay with something that was in his hand that he also didn't realize what it did, but without knowing what was in his hand, we can't really...
Yeah, we already have that. Let's see. He had a Scorched Earth.
He had a Scorched Earth. He's got the Monk.
A Monk and a Farm.
A Desert, and a Mage. Yeah. Oh, actually,
okay, let me give you viewing permission on my hand.
Yeah, no, I can see exactly what he has.
Oh right, yeah, you can see my straight. Yeah, hiding, disabled. There, that just makes it easier.
Yeah, he's got a Soul Fist. He's got a Butcher. He's got a Desert, Scorched Earth, and then he draws a Farm as well. He technically draws the Scorched Earth.
Okay.
That's honestly a really good opening hand.
Yeah, he has a great opening hand.
He's got a little bit of everything. Then, oh, right.
So, I guess the first question is his play the play I would make? And honestly... Probably.
He plays the Desert and a Butcher, right?
Desert, Butcher, and then the Mage. Which I think is all... good.
I agree with him because he made a comment about this of like, oh, if I had realized that the Mage was going to die, I maybe wouldn't have played the Mage. That's kind of valid. I'm not sure if I would have played the Mage first up. Well, maybe, because I wouldn't have expected to die.
If you could get 6
moved on to it at any time,
then the
they
Mage won't die.
They missed that synergy massively. This is such a powerful card right now if I had done this.
Yeah. Again, this is, we're just trying to see if they can win. So let's honestly, I think this is a decent...
Let's honestly just play it out from here, like trying to follow what they were doing, but just with the fact that I now have units on this.
Yeah. Honestly, I think that was the biggest, like, little mistake there. All right, so we generate... Heroes generate a unit... This should... he mentioned it's like, oh, this means all heroes in the game, but it really should only be your heroes. Otherwise, it's way too powerful. No. But
if we go through, he basically...
He generates 1. That's all.
He just generates 1 on the World-Studied Mage.
Yep.
Okay, that's his turn is basically still the same. I don't think there's necessarily a more optimal play. I might have honestly played the farm instead of the Butcher, just because we know that unit generation is very powerful and like necessary to stay alive. But I can't begrudge the Butcher. The Butcher is also a good card.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Butcher's a decent choice, especially because he doesn't have a second land. So like, it might be hard to get the Butcher out right away if he doesn't draw another land. So, okay, now what does the Old God play?
Jumping through. They have to figure out how attacking works. Oh, they forgot to shuffle it.
Yeah, a Shade,
a Blighted March,
and a
Wasteland.
Okay.
Search.
You're already on that, so let you do it.
I am very happy, though, that they didn't somehow end up with the World Ender at first try.
Yeah, they drew a World Ender and 2 frickin', what is it? Not Void Rifts, the Rift Walker or whatever, and I'm like, this is over.
Okay, so you have your Shade out. You've got your... Honestly, this is not a bad first... Like, as players, this is a pretty gentle first draw.
It is. Like, I would say 2 lands is a little scary.
It is, but you can deal with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's...
Well, let's see if that's true. Well, first of all, Scorched Earth, I would use Scorched Earth right away, instantly.
I don't even think you need to. You could still save that until the end of your turn. You just have to use it before
Right.
their next turn. Because that
Right.
doesn't do
True.
anything.
True.
What the big thing here, though, is that this guy attacks. He attacks the hero. The correct move at this point would have been, okay, I'm going to take... Now, assuming we have done the counter stuff, I'm going to take one off of this. I'm going to put one over here.
Yep.
And then the shade bounces. And
Correct.
your World Study Mage survives.
Correct. That's already huge.
That is huge already.
Yeah.
And I'm going to point out, this is all stuff you could have done just by reading this card. You don't need to know any other mechanics about this game at this point.
And actually,
Like, I want to draw attention to that because that's different than, like, I don't know what's about to happen or what cards do. This is a literal card I have read.
correct. And honestly, you could even get more benefit out of it if you just put all your units onto the World Study Mage, because then
You totally could have, because then at this point...
Then he draws an additional card on it.
Yeah, at this point, actually, you should put the remaining 4 units onto this. Get it to 5. Leave the trading post at 1. And now this next turn's already going to be massive.
Yeah.
So
I would say, to be fair to like a player doing this, there's a lot of people who don't like support roles, and that's exactly what this is. This feels like just a support
he drew a support hand right now.
But I would say there are a lot of people who don't enjoy that kind of role as in terms of games, but I feel like that isn't necessarily a fair assessment of the game to start. So I
would
think
also say both of the player decks are the same.
Correct.
It's
So that's
not that it's a support deck, it's that he drew a hand that was good at supporting.
Yeah.
The whole point is that there's a bunch of different play styles you can do. So
Right,
that's
exactly.
RNG that we like because of the fact that it's okay.
Yeah. So interesting just thoughts, I
So
guess.
already-
Anyway.
Already turn 1, we're in a much better position. Now, granted, some of that's knowing the mechanics, but, like, again, I'm trying to draw attention to the fact that we didn't need to know any mechanics beyond what this card says and what this card says.
Right. Okay, so next turn.
Okay, so next turn for first judge. I'm just calling them judges because I don't really want to have to say their names because it's confusing.
Agreed. Okay, Judge 1, Judge 2.
Going all the way through.
I believe he just generates units.
I think he just
passes
draws and
his
generates
turn,
units.
which implies he has
Just structures, then? He has to have just structures at that point, because otherwise he could play something.
right.
How the hell did he get the... Oh, this is when we figured out that the counters were broken for him. That's why his structure is stuck at 11, I think.
So here's my... I really wish I knew whether he had... When does he play his Demolish? Does he draw Demolish and then play it right away? Oh, I'm just trying to see ahead of the game a minute.
Hard to say for that. Well, because he can't play Demolish yet. He doesn't have... There's no structures.
Yeah, sorry, I'm kind of skipping ahead a little bit.
It's hard to say if he draws the Demolish or not.
I would assume he does, but that makes it even more like weird that
He's got to draw into the Demolish.
Okay, Han.
He's got to draw into the Demolish, because otherwise... I'm trying to watch his hand. When did he play Demolish? Okay, he had to play Demolish at that point, because they took out the structure. Yeah, okay.
Okay, so... But whose turn is this? This is the monster's turn. But it is the... Because
it pans up, so I can't see which card he plays when he plays Demolish.
Yeah.
He plays it seemingly instantly, though, once they realize what the structure does.
Yeah, actually, it isn't his... He had the card. So he could have played... In theory...
He does, though. He plays it before it takes the whatchamacallit, the spell back.
Yeah, but he could play it the second the structure was built, rather than
But he
before the
but he
right.
does.
He
No, he
does.
does, Beetle. That's what I'm
Oh,
saying. That
oh,
it was on the old god still had another card to draw after the spell, the old god spell activated, and it would now draw from the discard pile. So he immediately plays Demolish to destroy the Void Rift to prevent that spell from coming back.
okay, okay, gotcha.
So he plays that well.
Okay, good.
Yeah, he literally just passes at this point. Okay, assuming we've realized that our card is very powerful, when he goes to unit generation, instead of doing the generation, which again, he just puts it onto the units and doesn't move it, we would probably want, okay, do your unit gens. Do that. You'd immediately say, okay, well, the best thing for me is clearly just to put all of these back into my trading post.
Right.
And now it's back at 6, and now that means I can like give another 6 units to anything.
Right. Which is pretty damn close to destroying a land already.
So that and... Okay, so this is where I think we have to deviate from their turn, because we can go to the second judge turn.
Right.
What did he draw?
Let's see. He drew a village.
Okay, so he's got a village, but he can't play that at this point. But that's fine. He's already better off because his World Study Mage survived, which means he draws a second card. So what did he draw the next turn? Okay, again, the game's already in a different game state, like massively different game state.
He drew a druid.
So he drew a druid. So he'd have 2 heroes in his hand.
Another hero.
Okay, so he's already card advantage at this point. He can still play the Scorched Earth. That is still the right move.
I agree.
He plays Scorched Earth. I think they technically cheated at this point because they didn't read that it says its defeated effect does not trigger, but...
No, I thought they played it right because I think he only got units from
from the old God of Destruction.
Yeah, I believe
okay, so he plays Scorched Earth. Kills, honestly, it does not matter.
I think they picked, because I remember them talking about which one. I think they destroyed this one because it gains units on structures, and they didn't have that many structures. I think is the...
Yeah. On each structure,
less beneficial. So they destroyed that.
And so he got 2 units on the Butcher.
Butcher's only if monster dies.
Although it's his only structure. Gain 2 units on each structure.
Yeah, but he used, like I say,
oh, right, it didn't trigger. Right, sorry.
No, you're good. No, you're fine.
But the old god does trigger, and that's of 1 unit. So he does that. Then he can go to... Or he hasn't even played a hero. So now he could play Solf... Would I play Solstice Monk still? Probably?
Yes.
I think yes, you just don't have enough land. So I would still follow his initial play and play Soulfist. But it's already in a much better state. Because now he can go to...
have a hero.
Yeah, now he can go to gain units. He's going to gain a unit on
both
each
heroes.
Hero.
Yeah.
Then he could probably take a unit off of this one.
I would put it on the monk, probably.
It's the monk. And then he could still take some units from the trading post. Would I do that, or would I wait until we see what the...
I don't think there's any reason for him to do that, because...
I feel like you'd hold for now, because you don't know what's about to happen.
And you can move these units at any time.
Yeah, so you would just swing the Soul Fist at the Shade, I guess?
Yeah, that's what I would do.
So you lose 2 units off of that, but you kill the Shade.
And then you get what for defeating Shade?
1 unit, I think.
1 unit on a card you control.
and he gets a unit on his god, and he gets a
Correct.
unit on his butcher, and then 1 unit on a card you
2
control.
units on his butcher.
Units.
Honestly, so this is on a card of your choice. Actually, I almost would put that on the trading.
Put him on the
post.
super post. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now this
And
game
so wait,
state,
is this at 1 or 2?
That's a 2 because it's round down half. It was at 3.
Right.
It attacks.
Gotcha.
That's 1.5,
Yeah,
so
okay.
1. So I already did that wrong.
Cool.
So
cool.
I think that's
just wanna make sure.
literally more powerful or a better game state than they had.
Oh,
Yeah, 'cause I don't-
far better. He's already down. He's down a hero, and he's got. Yeah.
Yeah, so they buffed the shit out of the Soul Fist.
Right.
But we're actually holding because we're remembering that this allows us to place at any time, so there's no point in rushing the Soul Fist yet.
Right.
Okay, so now the old god goes.
And actually,
This is
when he lost this to the or had a potential to lose this to the enemy spell, the sorry, I'm kind of skipping ahead a bit, but it's just a thought that I want to say it.
We're
They
literally on
drew-
that turn that happens.
I guess, yeah, it is. Yeah, they draw the thing, and this, he could obliterate this, but still move all his units because he can move his units at any time.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Anyway,
Let's go
continue.
through their turn now. We've already seen that we've, just by making 1 to 2 tweaks based on cards, we've drawn and nothing else.
Yeah.
The game's going very differently. Where's the Void Rift? Void Rift. So they play the Void Rift first.
Which in theory should start playing.
Wait, do they? Oh, this is where I think they said, oh, we should just do them all at once. And I'm like, no, you need to do it in order.
Yeah.
Again, this is in the rulebook. Sorry, I will nitpick whenever they do something that is literally covered in the rulebook.
No, honestly, I think. Yeah, you're allowed.
Yeah. Okay. So they say
I will. You know, I'll say it. I am salty about it. And most of the. I'm trying to organize my thoughts. I'm not like super pissed or anything. I'm annoyed. I think that honestly my biggest annoyance was just the lack of constructive criticism at the end. And honestly, that's really the biggest reason I'm upset about it. I just like the not being able to look at the game objectively despite having a bad game, because like Magic has this issue. If you like I've never played.
I have had terrible games of Magic where I'm sitting there with no lands in hand, nothing on the field, meaning if you don't play Magic, if I don't have lands in Magic, you can't do anything. Or
only drawing lands or something like that. And it's, if you think of this deck as an opponent, like, I mean, I guess for instance, I saw like you and Mike playing a game or whatever, right? And like, I think he wasn't drawing lands, yeah. And then for what, it was like 5 turns or something, and it's like, and he can't do anything. And then like, if you're getting, it's like one side's getting good draws and one side's not. But I digress. Anyway, I think
on it, my biggest saltiness is stemming from not reading the rule book and then complaining about how things work. And I'm just like, if you read the rule book, or and this is why I'm still salty about this one, like noticing, calling out, like, this does not require, Trading Post does not require you to understand how the game works beyond read the card.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a reason why Magic the Gathering has the phrase, reading the card explains the card. Anywho, okay, so they played Void Rift, which now causes them to start playing from the discard pile. So, oh no, they don't destroy Void Rift instantly.
That's the thing.
Would you have destroyed, assuming he had Demolish in his hand, would you have destroyed Void Rift at this point? I don't know if I would.
What? How? Hold on, I'm a little confused. Let me see. Because
they draw Void Rift, so it's at 29 minutes 30 seconds is when they have the Void Rift out and they start drawing from the discard pile instead.
My confusion Yeah, they left Void Rift out for a whole
Sure.
round. Yeah.
Or at least at this point, they play the two things from the discard and then they cast Desolation. Okay. So what happens is Void Rift comes out as card number 1 that they're going to draw. They're going to draw 4 cards this turn.
Right.
So that's card number 1. Then they draw 2 cards from the discard pile, and then they flip the top card,
Yeah.
and it's Desolation.
Right.
So the order is basically... Hold on, I'm just going to stack them over here for now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Void Rift comes out, and then they will play it like in this order. Or they'll play the Shade, the Blighted Marsh, and the Desolation.
Honestly, knowing that
it's hard because we know Desolation is coming, but if I didn't know Desolation is coming, I'm not sure if I would immediately demolish the Void Rift.
I honestly would, knowing a land is coming back. I might let the Shade come. Wait, was the Shade first or second?
The Shade would have been first. In the order they played it. Yeah. Because they destroyed the land and then they attacked and destroyed the Shade. So, like, I think I agree.
I
with
would
you,
let the
actually.
Shade come back.
Come in, then cast Demolish at that point. Because he does cast Demolish after this. So we're going to assume he had Demolish in his hand.
Right, yes.
Maybe an incorrect assumption, but we didn't see his hand, so it's hard to tell. But he did play it right after this, so...
I mean, he had to, because it didn't go to his turn and then play it, right?
Yeah, so
he did it mid... whatever, yeah.
So the Void comes back, then they got hit by the Demolish, and then let me jump forward a little bit to see what the next card would have been. They do the Demolish thing. I have to, like, jump through their entire turn. It would be a Nethermuck. That's the next card that would come out.
Okay.
Nethermuck. There you go.
Okay, wait. So one. Well, we need the 2 next cards, right?
Well, no, they played Void Rift. They played Shade from the graveyard. They would have flipped Desolation, and then they'd have flipped Nethermuck, and that's the 4 cards that he would have gotten this turn.
Right. Yes, Void Rift was one of them. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
So Desolation hits, and I gotta jump back to the Desolation Point because I gotta see who they sack, which I think
that's my new band name, Desolation Point.
Desolation Point. Who do they sack for Okay.
He sacks the Forest, which I think is probably a bad move. Maybe. I mean, it's hard to say. Trading Post is really good.
They sack Forest and land? Yeah, they both sack their lands.
I would not have done that.
I don't think that's the right idea. I think you have to sack a card, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think at this point I would have sacked the Trading Post after sending all of its counters onto something.
Yeah.
Probably Soul Fist, because you already know you're going to get attacked by this, which attacks the strongest hero. So, like, just put 7 onto Soul Fist, make it a 9.
Yep.
Sack this, let it die. It's fine.
And then, honestly, I would kill the Butcher as
yeah,
because he has two structures, so you can still get use out of it.
Yeah, so I would destroy the Butcher. And this, to be fair, this is a little bit of the newbie player of, like, they destroy the land, but the structure is fine, not realizing that they still can't play another structure, technically. Right. So yeah, I would have sacked the Butcher. Now 2 cards died, so that gets you 3 cards because of the Demolish. So that gets this dude 3 more units as the god.
Right.
Okay, and acknowledging at this point, like, we have deviated into alternative history here because, like, this is not the board state they had.
No.
The Desolation resolves, and then they Nethermuck, and now they got that out.
The Nethermuck would then have to attack a hero.
It attacks the weakest hero, and this attacks the strongest hero. So 4 would have gone at the World Study Mage, and 2 would have gone at the Soul Fist. So the Soul Fist loses 1, and this guy loses 4.
Technically, I did reword Soul Fist. That's only when attacking it loses half.
Oh, yeah, so it loses 2. And then this one loses 4, which is rough.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now we're here. That would have been the end of the Old God's turn. Now let's see. What did he literally play anything?
He played a merchant.
Did he finally draw a merchant? Yeah, he played the merchant. Okay.
Which works fine now because, well, it actually works much better because the merchant acts as his trading post.
Merchant comes in with a 1. Yeah, actually, this might.
And yeah, this is really dumb because he can't play any structures. So why would he keep a structure?
Yeah. So now, did he have a structure he played later in the game?
We saw his hand at the end of the game. That's, I think, the best we can do. He takes out all his cards in place. He has 2 libraries. It's hard to see.
Oh my god, that is a baller hand. What the
hell?
It's 2 libraries. It's another butcher. It's a bridge.
And
a village. And a war encampment. An encampment.
Is that what that is?
Well, so it's hard to say what he would have played or had in his hand at this point. So like, I can't say with certainty what he would have played.
Yeah, well, I guess we can look at the order in which the cards are and assume that the ones that were drawn
that he had for a while are probably on the left or the right.
Yeah, let's see where he draws cards into. I believe it comes in on the right, right? Because when he got all those counters, they spawned it on the right. Remember that when it looks really weird and they're all on the right.
So the cards on the left are the ones he probably had in his hands. What's that? Again, looks like he definitely potentially has a bridge.
Was that village? God, it's hard to tell.
I think it's village. Hold on, where's the village? Yeah, that's a village. The leftmost card is a village.
Okay, that's what I thought. Which is a village or a butcher is not a bad play here. Assuming, I mean, he probably had the village, the bridge, and the butcher. We could assume that.
Okay, so that's another reason why sacking his structure would have been a better play.
Yeah.
Because he has other structures he can play. Okay, so that probably was a misplay then on his part of like, if your literal only cards are structures, why would you sack the non-structure?
Yeah, especially because he wasn't generating units that well. Yeah, and yeah, he only had non-structure, so you may as well, because yeah, you're never gonna get that land back. Or you're not never going to get it back, but yeah, you already have structures you can play. You may as well... Because yeah, destroying the land, you can't play any cards, but destroying the structure, at least you can play
I'll play another card from your hand. I feel like in this case, I'd probably play the village.
It's the... right, gains more units.
You gain more units, and it gives you a nice if it's destroyed effect, and you gain 1 additional units for every 3 units placed on this structure, so there's like a long-term payoff you could start doing.
And you know the Nethermuck exists, so there's a good chance that is going to get, if you avoid it, it's going to be the thing that gets destroyed, which at least gets you 5 units.
Yeah. Okay, so now you'd go to unit phase, so gain 2 there, gain 1 there, and then another 2, because now you have a structure on it again. That was actually a huge mistake. You should not have sacked this. The forest generates so much value.
Yeah.
I'm 100% confirmed on this now.
Yeah. I think they did admit that it may have been a mistake, but still.
It was totally a mistake.
Yeah. And generate 1 for the merchant.
Yep, generate 1 for the merchant. Then, at this point, knowing what the old god has out...
I mean, you could...
I feel like you just accept that your village is probably going to die.
Yeah, I would put everything on merchant. Actually.
Yeah, I think you just take 1 off of this and put it on the merchant, and then the 3 off of this and put it on the merchant. And then
And
2 off of that and 2 on the merchant. Yeah.
And then we're actually, this turn we destroy the land. I mean,
Yeah,
on Judge's
you could
2's
take
turn,
this
but
over to there.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So now
And
let's
then
go
you're
to.
almost winning. Sorry. Okay. Well,
He
so
also
can...
he also has a desperate mage's shield. Hold on.
Oh, he does. Yeah, he used it for 2 on. I
Yeah,
would
he
not.
uses this- I would
yeah.
not. I would never do that.
I mean, to be fair, it kind of made sense in their sort of desperate state
I think
to
they were
use
getting
it.
desperate.
Yeah. I would not have used it. I mean, it's good to know that he has it at this point.
Yeah, because now we actually know he has it, which I think makes our play even more valid here. Okay, so let's go to what's Judge 2's turn. He just plays his. Well, he would get to draw
Well, here,
a card.
I think the
that we
merchant
haven't-
can attack, right? Kill something.
Actually, yeah.
It's worth kill. Well, you have. Here's the thing. It's worth killing pretty much anything. I would kill. Honestly, I would kill the Shade. Well, I don't know, because getting more cards here probably would have been a good situation.
Putting myself in the mental mindset, if I still haven't drawn a land, I'm going after the muck to try and draw land.
Yeah.
I think I would do that.
Yeah, so you lose 4.
4, this turns into a 2/2, but then you get to draw a card, which we don't know what that would have been, but assuming it was probably
a library,
one of the structures. Probably like a
camp,
library.
A camp.
Oh, camp. Okay.
Yeah. Right? Isn't that what that card is? Okay.
Yeah, camp is this one. Can you see my hand?
I can. Yeah, I turned hands on. Can you see mine?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so already this is looking kind of solid. You're just accepting that this will probably die.
And actually, I think that's almost a worthwhile trade. It's just not even.
It is, because you drew a card from this, and you'll get 5 units from this.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we go to Judge 2's turn. He plays the Druid. Well, he would draw a card that... Do we know what his card would have done? Go back down to your hand. Let me see your hand.
Let me see them hands, girl. Mage's Tower?
No, that's a village. So he would have drawn a village.
Well, he has a village. Or does he have a second village?
No, there's something else then. Hold on.
Oh wait, no, library.
Tundra. He draws
I'm too
Tundra.
far. Okay, I'm too far. Yeah, I'm too far ahead. Sorry.
Well, again, like now, even that one turn of card advantage have made this a little bit more interesting. So he draws a Tundra. He would have drawn a Tundra at this point had this happened this way. Yeah, so you go to his turn. I think I would have definitely still. I mean, obviously.
Also, one more card on, or one more unit for destroying the muck.
There. Then at this point, you play the Tundra, and then you play. I mean, either of these are good.
Probably village, because it doubles up on the muck thing, I would say.
I think so. So both of these would come in with 1. Now you go to gain units, so...
He gains 1 for each hero.
1 for each hero. The structure gains 1 for free off of Tundra. The structure gains 1 for itself.
And then we're on to unit allocation.
I mean, at this point...
I would beef up my monk as much as possible to destroy this
take out the land, and then...
There's not really much else you can do after that. Well, actually, wait, no. You can take stuff from the merchant. Okay,
take stuff from the merchant. Okay, so let's beef up the monk to be able to kill the whatchamacallit. That's 5 off of the god.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
You're already close.
Take the 2 here and put that on.
Yeah, because he can attack at that and be fine. So then I might...
I would take at least 2 from
2 from that to buff up the World Mage, and then do you swing with the World Mage at something? Maybe the Nethermuck, because then you might not get the card draw next turn off of
Well,
him,
then...
but you...
yeah.
Or do you attack the Shade because you might want the Nethermuck to proc your village?
Oh, this is actually easy. So you take everything from the guy. You attack the Shade.
Oh, and then you take 2, but then put 1 back on.
You take 2, and then you put 1 back on, so you're still at 5, so you can still generate that.
And then you attack with your Soul Fist onto the land. It takes half of 15 is 7.5, so 7.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're in a very... And that's destroyed.
Generate 6 units on one land or structure you control. So he gets...
I mean, I would put it on the village, at least up to 2, 3,
well, that will get him...
5.
I would do all 5. Of it, actually, because that... Well, if you have every 3 units you have gains an additional unit per turn, so...
Well, yeah, but 6 or 7 doesn't really make that
I see what you're saying.
But also,
you're right.
You're right. 2 cards, so now you get 2 things on your God of Destruction.
Yep.
I mean...
And this is actually... I mean, we've almost won.
Let's see what the old god played next after this, and we can figure out what...
Actually... And here, we could just play Desperate Mage Shield on the Monk, and so he stays at 15.
And keep it at 15. What the fuck did they play next? I'm so confused.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to...
This is where it's getting confusing. Okay, they're doing a bunch of stuff. They take care of a land. They take care of a monster. The first Nethermuck that they drew. Then it's an Inferno. But also, it's only going to draw 3 cards, so they're already in a better spot.
Yeah.
So that's card 1.
Yep. Discord message. What?
There's another muck. They drew another Shade.
Oh. Someone joined our Discord server. Hello.
I'm drawing more cards than this. Why did he discard? What the hell?
Okay,
Did not draw enough cards? Oh no, it draws 2 Shades.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure it drew a bunch of Shades, so...
Okay, it did. So it does 2 Shades and an Inferno, and that's the only thing it would have played this turn.
Yeah.
And so the Shades attack. They
also muck first, which kills this village.
Yes, which is fine. Because then you get 5 units. I mean, I would probably just put the 5 units right onto this dude.
Yeah, exactly.
So get rid of that. Get rid of that. Okay, then the Shades both attack. They're going to attack the strongest hero, so that's 4 damage onto the Monk, which is fine. That's... I think they win soon. Okay, let's see what he played next. Is he?
I don't think he could do anything.
Literally just does unit generation, so we got to assume he doesn't draw anything of use.
But he can still play another...
But he can play another one of structures, and he probably has a library at this point.
Honestly, I would play... I don't even play library. I would play War Camp. It can attack. So he can, in theory, generate enough units to kill both Shades or a Muck.
Yeah, so definitely, I agree. I'd play a... Oh, and also another trigger on the old god. Because the thing died. The structure. Okay, so now he goes to gain units. So you gain 2 onto this. You gain another 4 onto forest, yet again proving that sacking something
Yeah,
on the sacking the forest is not a good idea.
Yeah.
And then 1 on that. And then what does it say? Whenever you... Oh, you can ignore hero restrictions and move units to whatever you want.
So, I mean, move. What's the camp do as a passive? If structure has 5 more units on it, it may attack on each of your ally or on your ally's turn as well. So, full sending that sounds like the best option, because then you could, in theory, attack twice, right?
1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. At least that. You're going to need to bump it up to 7. So you need to take 1 off of your merchant to bump this up to 7, because it's going to take 2 damage from a shade when it attacks, and then you still want it to be able to attack.
I was like, wait, how can you do that? But the camp can do that.
That is the camp.
That is the power of the camp.
Then you'd swing your merchant at one of the shades. You'd swing your camp at the other one.
So you only lose 1 each because...
Oh, and they only lose 1 each because you could just put it back on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so no, you could have 1 extra on your merchant then, because then your camp's still at 5. Yeah. So right. You kill both shades. Do they win this turn? They might.
They...
Oh, they can't.
No, they can. No, I think they can.
Oh, they can, because they can attack.
Right? Yeah, assuming you can get enough on... Well, okay, hold on. 2 cards were destroyed?
2 more cards were destroyed, so 2 more triggers on Old God. And then at this point...
Oh, they have also a druid.
What does he draw at this point? Hold on. He draws... This is where they break the rules of the game. It's fine. I don't know what he draws. He's already got the village in his hand. The problem is, like, we're a draw ahead for him because he was able to get the wizard to trigger at least once and killed something to draw a card. So, like, I'm all fucked up in terms of what his draws are.
Oh, yeah, it's really hard to tell. Wait, I'm looking at the wrongs. I'm trying to look at the stream, and I'm actually looking at my current stream and not the... he gets a library, right?
He draws a plains. No, he draws a Osgathian... What the fuck? He draws an Osgathian warrior.
Which is...
That actually means they win
arguably they win the game, yeah.
Hold on, yeah. Because Osgathian warrior, that is literally his next card based on what I can understand. You play the farm because you know duh. You play the Osgathian warrior who comes in with 5 units. You go you go to unit generation, so all heroes gain a unit. All structures gain a unit. These structures gain an additional unit for their abilities, and then this triggers and gives you 3 more.
Well, I think it would only be... Would it be 2, or does this trigger an order like that, you think?
Let's just make it 2. Just make it a little harder, so that way we're trying to, like, in the most rules cynical way. But still, I think they win, because you just go... Look at all of the units he has on board right now.
Yeah. I mean... Oh, yeah, no. Okay, let's do it, though.
Let's math it out, but, like, literally, you just put up to 15, so you take 3 off the village.
Yeah.
That gets this guy up to 15.
Yeah.
Then you just pump 7 off of this into your world studied mage, or it doesn't even matter, to be honest. Like, you could pump it into the Osgathian Knight, so 7 more there. 2 off of the farm. That's 15, and you win because the Osgathian camp can kill something, but so can the World Study Mage. So it takes care of that. One of these 2 kills the land, and one of these 2 kills the Old God.
And that's not even...
That's not even all his units.
The death effects, too. You could literally draw and play a spell. Like, that could also change the whole game. So we win.
I will say the 2 major mistakes is that they didn't they didn't read and understand the trading post. The trading
Yeah.
post is stupid valuable, and they did not
Yeah.
read that. So that
Yeah.
cost them because they could have done exactly what we did in the early game. And then the other thing was they should not have sacked lands.
Yeah.
Those
and then on top of that, the mulligan probably would have also just gotten them into a much better play state just to start. But
we didn't even
it wasn't necessary.
We didn't even play with the mulligan. You didn't have to play with the mulligan. You had to just actually read what Trading Post does. And then the land sack, I don't blame them for not understanding that was a bad idea, but it does radically change the game.
I mean, I don't honestly, I would say I don't blame them for playing the game poorly. I would just say that
the game was winnable.
The game was winnable, and I think it was unfair that they
critiqued the game based on their enjoyment of a single round.
Yeah. Which kind of makes me think that just one playthrough isn't enough for any sort of...
It's not intended to be for these types of games, though. That's the problem, is that these types of games are meant to be, you play it, you get crushed like they did, and you go, oh no, I'm going to go back and we're going to beat this game.
Yeah, so I don't know. I can't, like I said, my biggest thing was just the lack of constructive criticism, but at the same time, yes, this game was 100% winnable, which makes me feel a hell of a lot better.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to do this because honestly, that was the first thing I realized is just he didn't allocate his units during allocation phase. And when I saw it happen, I'm like, he could have done that, but I guess you could leave him. Like when I saw it happening, I'm like, that's probably a misplay, but I'm obviously not going to tell them how to play the game. And it turns out that was in fact, the land thing and the
not paying attention to what your cards do and trying to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
I do still agree that our internal review feedback from last night of trying to find a way to decrease the variance is probably good, because I do think that some of it's a little weird now because he was land screwed, but at the same time, maybe don't sack your one land then.
Honestly, part of me would think that there honestly should just be a rule that you can't sack your land if there's a structure on it. I think that's a good problem. It
encourages people to not do a dumb thing, kind of thing.
Yeah. So I think that is probably part of it, but I think there's a lot of clarity things to clear up.
There's a couple clarity things. There's a couple of edge cases. I do feel like you need some kind of I feel like there's something to be said for some type of, I don't even want to call it comeback mechanic, but something where you're staring down 7 monsters, 2 structures, and 3 lands, and something that makes you go, hey, we might still have a shot at this.
Yeah, I think honestly part of that is just instead of having defeated effects work for just you, it helps both you and your ally.
Yeah, that would make payoffs better.
I think that is the biggest thing, because right now, if this it's pretty this might not feel nearly as fun to play as this is, right? So if he got more cards and stuff like that, I think it would have been much more fair. But also playing the game is half of it's realizing you're in a death spiral, right? I would say once you get to a point where it feels unwinnable, you probably be yeah, no, this isn't happening. Again, to bring up Risk of Rain, right? You're fighting a boss and it took 5 minutes to kill it by yourself, and your team's dead and you're just fighting the boss. It's well, you're probably not in a good spot because your teammates are going to come back and they're going to be, under itemed and that kind of stuff. So I feel
I think there's definitely some flavor changes we can do. Yeah. Definitely in the beginning, the opening of the rulebook, and maybe on some of the cards themselves, to try and sell this idea of the game is called Armies Against Entropy. You are trying to fight the end of the universe, and like even just like flavor text that kind of speaks about, hey, you're not the first universe or like world to be destroyed by this.
Yeah.
Like kind of implying like, oh god, this has happened before and like no one's won kind of feeling.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can agree with that. I think yeah, part of it is setting expectations.
Yeah, which right now,
I mean, and granted, like we knew what cards each other player had, and there's a bit of, you know, obviously we knew it was coming, right? We played. This is like we played the optimum way to play, but I think that's a fair assessment that this game isn't so horribly unbalanced that this wasn't winnable.
Yeah, it was a concern for me as well. Of like, did they get completely RNG screwed? And the answer is no. There were a series of micro decisions they made along the way that sent them down the death spiral.
Yeah,
RNG did not help, but the game clearly was winnable.
And it was early on that it happened. I think it would be harder to recover from a later on point in the game. I think that is
with this particular old god as well. Like I think the last one, which flips 5 cards a turn, is much more difficult and could like quickly spin a game out of control, even if you were in control.
Yeah, which I guess could bring up a point that like maybe not all lands should have 15 health.
You could drop it to like 10 for some of them, depending on what it does and what its effect might be. Like it's something to explore.
You could even have like a card that's like draws 2 cards, but it only has 5 health or something like that. I think there's more card variation to play around with, but yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with how this turned out here.
Yep.
I believe that makes me feel a lot better about myself. Thank you for the follow. I don't see it on my stream notifications for some reason, but I see it on my thing. So thank you. My email told me. Weirdly enough. Thank you. Is my just chat not working? I don't know, but yeah, I guess there's nothing else really to say about that. I just wanted to go through that, see if it was a possibility, and it was. I guess, is there anything else we really want to take a look at here?
I don't think so. Like, I think we've proven the game was winnable. Again, playing semi-optimally, but still, we didn't mulligan. We tried to like follow the cards they drew, and I think we kind of validated the 2 major points of failure was them not appreciating or reading what Trading Post could do and making some less than optimal decisions around that, and then just in general, land sacking is generally not the way to go, and that might be bad enough that we need to make a rule change of you can't sack a land if there's a structure on it. You have to sack the structure first just to prevent people from like murdering themselves.
Yeah, and I think there's like little things that we realized too that
there's tons of little stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, like the demoralize killing things I think felt bad. And that was honestly just a thing that we missed from removing power level, right? Because when we remove power level, everything started with 1 counter, and a card normally wouldn't have died if it just because it had
to remove. Yeah, we need to tweak the actual wording on that to be not instantly killing units, because that was rough.
Yeah, I might do a small pass on that like today even, because I kind of want to do a print and play, and I might I might play with some of the fam.
Yeah.
Look at this card. There we go. Yeah. Boop, boop, boop. Anyway, yeah, I think I might do it like just a quick pass on that, but it doesn't have to be now. Like, not now, but on stream necessarily. But yeah, cool. Well, I guess in that case, we are good here. I'm gonna sign off. I thought I'd just do. I mean, it's been an hour, so I think it was a cool little stream. Kind of going over that, kind of, you know, justifying the game a little bit and proving that it just wasn't us coping that that it went so poorly.
I think it proves that we have validated the game is not impossible, even in a circumstance, a game that on the surface felt like it was impossible. Like watching them play the game, they just seemed like they were getting worse and worse, and it seemed like the RNG was god awful, and like there was way too much variance. There still might be, but we validated that game was 100% winnable.
Yeah,
even with the cards that they had drawn.
Yeah, I think there is something to say about mitigating that variability if possible, but and I guess the snowballing, if we can make it less snowbally.
I do still think there needs to be a couple cards in the deck that feel like a rubber band slingshot of we were about to lose and we somehow like bought ourselves another chance to try and come back. I don't know what that looks like because I don't want those also to just be like easy win cards.
Yeah, because that's what we had before. There was the what's it called? The like draw 3 cards. It was like, okay, that could have potentially been,
I think
like something that would have helped, but the problem is that also if they were ahead would have just like been
I think things like drawing 3 cards or like this turn you can play more than 1 X cards might be worth exploring as ways to like allow someone to be like, shoot, we're losing, I might be able to get us back into this. I feel like they
have one like that, right? We have cognitive enhancement, right?
Yeah, I feel like they have to
again? Draw 1 card. You may play any number of cards this turns.
I feel like we might want to have a few more of these, but I feel like also they need to have a cost to them, so they're not just like this card lets us win. It's more of a if you're ahead, this card is a trade-off card. If you're behind, this card is your Hail Mary.
Yeah. Like destroy 5 units and then play 5 cards or something. Obviously that's dumb, but But
in that vein, like destroy 5 units, play some number of cards greater than you normally can could be a mechanic worth exploring.
Or like you can play structures not on lands or something like that. I think there's cards that could probably help in that.
Play structures without having to have a land for them, things like that, or like play an extra hero this turn. There could be a couple of those types of cards. Maybe even we could make them cantrippy potentially. Sorry, that's a Magic term, but cantrip meaning you play it, it lets you do something and then draw a card, so it just replaces the card in your hand. So you're not down a card.
You play it, draw it instantly. Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, you're not. It basically means you're not down a card. You still have an extra or the same number of cards, but you now have some effect happening. So I think there's some design space worth exploring there.
Yeah, no, for sure. Cool. Well, I think for now though it's in a decent enough state. Like if we just change some like the little problems we saw, I could probably just print it and play it and just get
I would definitely say a couple tweaks and you can play test it.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Well, Kyle, thank you for joining me.
Of course.
And thank you everyone who stopped by. And I will see you probably Tuesday. I might be switching up my times. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that out. There's definitely certain times that look like they're better than others for streaming. But anyway, thank you for joining me. Peace.
Bye-bye.